Thanks to my love of Ted Danson, I might have a new obsession. It's early days, we'll see how it goes. But I've just watched 73 Seconds, which is the first episode of the 12th season of CSI, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Very briefly, quick backstory before I get in with the discussion, and this will be a spoiler-free discussion, by which I mean I won't say who was responsible for the crimes, but I will mention a couple of personal highlights that may be tiny spoilers for things that happen throughout. But very quickly, I tried watching CSI quite a few years ago and I just couldn't get into it. But I love Ted Danson, so I decided I would at least give season 12 a go, which is where his character D.B. Russell is introduced properly. And if I like it and I stick with it, I will then go back and try again from season 1. And based purely on this first episode, I think I'm going to really like it. Partly because Ted Danson, his character is amazing, but also because this episode is significantly better than the episode I remember from way back when. So we'll see what happens there, but in case anybody's wondering, no, I haven't seen the 11 previous seasons, and I usually have a rule that I will not start watching a TV series halfway through or several seasons into it. But my love of Ted Danson meant that I broke that rule, and I'm kind of glad that I did. So 73 Seconds refers to a shooting on a tram, and we have several dead bodies, and our crime scene investigators are trying to solve the crime. I can't comment on any of the other characters. There seems to be some development in some of their stories, but obviously because I'm not aware of their backstories too much, I can't really comment on those. But with regards to the introduction to D.B. Russell, fantastic. The first scene that he is in is incredible and definitely sets things up for the kind of character he is. He is exactly the kind of personality I had a feeling Ted Danson would be playing. He is very eccentric and interesting. And as I said, there will be a few spoilers for personal highlights, but I won't spoil who was responsible for the killings. But the first personal highlight where I thought, yeah, I'm really enjoying this, is when D.B. Russell was pretending to be a third body, basically. And it was just so unexpected and so well done. And with regards to the crime itself, I think the narrative developed very well. We got some clues at a really good rate. There is a lot of technical information in this, and I learned quite a few things. There's some information about something that I'd never heard of called a ghost ring with regards to how blood dries. And I googled it, and I didn't get any results other than shopping results for blood-stained ghost rings, which was interesting. But there are quite a few things in this that I learned, even just based on this one episode. So that's something I'm really looking forward to, and hopefully that will continue. I didn't work out who was responsible for the crime, and in fact I was wrong because one suspect was saying something and I thought they were lying completely. And I was wrong about that. And I quite like that. I like being wrong with mysteries and crime dramas because the element of surprise is pretty great. And when we get the reveal and we find out the truth, everything made perfect sense. The main narrative I really thoroughly enjoyed. We also have this body that's been found, and I won't say much about it other than the skin across the chest, across the torso, seems to be quite taut. And we get to see a close-up of the autopsy. And I wasn't expecting that. And I think this is something else I'm going to really love about CSI, if this is the norm, where we got to see the body being cut up and the detail was just amazing. That doesn't happen that often with crime dramas. Usually we won't see the actual incision, and obviously this is because budgets can't afford them to create very realistic bodies and things, but this was very impressive. And I absolutely loved it. With regards to that body, I definitely didn't work out what was responsible for this particular situation, and I found that to be very, very fascinating as well. So all of the main narratives in this, the mysteries, the crimes, were very interesting, very well told. The pacing was really great, and as I said, we get new clues and suspects at a really good rate. So I was hooked all of the way through. At this stage, I obviously can't comment on any of the other CSIs, but what I can say is that I didn't dislike any of the characters. Sometimes with TV shows, we can take an instant dislike to a particular character, sometimes for a valid reason, sometimes for no reason, but that wasn't the case here, and hopefully over time I will start to develop more strong opinions about various characters. And with regards to D.B. Russell, I love him. I kind of figured I would, but I just love the character. I love the personality. I think he is tremendous fun. He seems to be very knowledgeable, and he seems to have both his heart and his head in the right places. The scene with the invisible tennis ball was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, because we'd already established that he was quite eccentric, and then we established that he was able to connect with victims emotionally, particularly with this young boy. And I think it shows that, I don't want to say this, but I will say it, it seems like he's got the perfect package. But I am biased because I love Ted Danson. But either way, with that character, I'm going to really thoroughly enjoy the next few seasons, I think. And then I will go back and watch season 1 if I still love it. I also am quite keen to watch CSI New York. So this could be the beginning of a beautiful relationship with CSI. Fingers crossed that all goes according to plan. Oh, I almost forgot to mention Wallace Langham is in this. He plays David Hodges. I don't know if that means anything to anybody. I assume he was in it before this season. But he is Josh from Veronica's Closet, which I love. So that made me very happy as well. All things considered, 73 Seconds is a great my introduction to CSI. I think it's a pretty decent introduction to Ted Danson's character. Cannot wait to watch the next episode. And hopefully this will be the start of a wonderful new obsession. I'm pretty excited to see where this goes.